Sir. I welcome you and welcome all the participants who are participating in this webinar. Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir has 40 years of teaching and training experience, 20 plus years of corporate trainer, and sir is actively associated with the theater, cinema, television, and radio media, radio speaker, and known for Facebook live talks, lectures in Kannada and English both. Sir has currently 440 plus live talks every day. Susu Matu, Ashu Matu, and Imagine Rotary each day for Rotary clubs all over the world through RCDC Facebook page. Sir has experience of talking as interpreter for ambassador of Netherlands, Germany, Russia, visited non-English countries in addition to 7 other countries. Sir was the past chairman, secretary of Dharwad Local Center, past council member, and sir is the recipient of Best Teacher Award, Rotary Club District 3170, writer, columnist of newspaper. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Tumkur, for initial helping hands in establishing the forming trial links, and now also, and thanks to Mr. Ranga Reddy, the Honorary Secretary of the State Center, and Chairman Mr. Lakshman. It gives me an immense pleasure to be here with all. Maybe I don't know how many numbers are there in this streaming, but certainly all engineering colleges, all universities, and private universities and federal universities, they are all interested in making what? Their brand name as well as a national fame, and more than anything else, money also. When I speak of money, yes, the antenna, gets erected. Yes, so it starts when money matter comes in the higher education, and that is possible in higher education, in a medical field, and in a engineering education. I hope all of you, those who are listening or viewing, or those who are going to see this afterwards, may agree with me. Now, do you know one thing? $60 billion. $60 billion our poor country, India, is giving it as a foreign exchange for all students who would like to study abroad in their choice universities across. Draining to the developed nations is $60 billion, mind-boggling. We are giving this to United States of America, United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, and believe me, even to Ukraine also. When this Ukraine war, came out, perhaps for the first time, most of the Kannadigas or Karnataka state people came to know how many Kannadiga students are studying medical in Ukraine. They don't go freely. They have to take foreign exchange from India. Now, this is an issue. When I visited Canada, and I visited about 10 community colleges, and do you know, in their entire annual budget, 15% of that their income comes from foreign countries, and India is one of them, because I met a number of Indian students in Canada, in a Vancouver region. I visited some of it 3 years back. Why I'm sharing this is 60 billion is not a small sum. When our Prime Minister is speaking of Atmanirbhar Bharat, we have to strengthen the hands of Prime Minister and the government of India and the respective state government with our broadening horizons of internationalization. Internationalization of education is required. Do you know, again, I am taking you to the past glory of India. Ujjayan, Takshashila, and Nalanda, Tanjavuru, and some other places. They were known as ancient Indian universities. Indian universities, Nalanda used to draw lakhs of people from other countries. We had a broad name, had a broad brand name as India. And, you know, please think for a while. कहाँ गए वो दिन, कहाँ गए वो अच्छे दिन प्राचीन भारत का. And now we are sending our children to US, UK, Australia, New Zealand, and whatnot, even to some Scandinavian countries. Now, in this context, internationalization of education becomes necessity. Internationalization of engineering education becomes more than necessity for a simple reason. It is connected with the skills also, hardcore skills. Skills are the best strategies to enhance the national wealth. So, I need not tell, most of you are learned people, you know how much we are investing in skill development things. So, if we can provide a quality education, certainly we can attract more and more students. Even now, the time is right. India has been considered as a brand today, thanks to whoever has made an effort in the past. Today, India is in a better position to command the power of negotiation, power of education, and taking the glory of innocent India again back to those days of, what is to be established as a brand name. Of course, there are developed countries, we have a competition, I do agree. But in spite of the fact that our GDP is today in the fourth or fifth position, and please remember, even the foreign exchange is also considerably increasing. It is also, I don't have that particular slide, but recently the World Economic Forum has shown clearly that India is becoming a superpower. This is the right time for all academicians, education administrators, vice chancellors, and all those who think for higher education. Here is the time for all of them to rethink, re-strategize, and change their mindset from Macaulay period to today's contemporary times or current times. So what would have been done with this $60 billion? More than 10,000 colleges could have been opened in 10 years. And the additional capacity of youths in these colleges would have been more than 1 lakh. So what an amount of the investment could have been made. But are we doing it? But one thing here, this is just to give you the broad picture of what is the need, in how much money we are losing, what are we getting out of this, and most of the $60 billion which goes out for our, most of the students don't come back and they settle there. That means we are contributing $60 billion, and more than anything else, the very effective lifespan and a workable time of our youths our youths of India, they will be trying their level best to improve the economic conditions of other countries. No doubt, part of that may come back to the income to their family or the India's, branding also. All these are true. But at the same time, can we think of Atmanirbharata? Can we think of Atmanirbharata in higher education, specifically in engineering education? For that matter, if you would like to have Atmanirbharata in engineering education, in a higher education strata, we have to reorient ourselves for next 5 years or 10 years. Whatever span we have thought of, we have been achieving step by step in the other areas of economic freedom. Now, can we extend it to engineering education? What it means? Internationalization of engineering education, what it means is, yeah, you may just bring the slides also, no problem. Transnational mobility of engineers. Transnational mobility. Can we freely move from one country to other country? That has to be thought of. So, next slide. Hello?
Yes, sir.
What it means? That is the title of the thing. Transnational mobility of engineers. From one country to other country with the same degree, can we have a same recognition there? Those who have gone, they may not be in position to tell, specifically in a medical and higher education, you have to pass their entry tests also. So without any test, can you recognize the degree of this country and that country? This transnational mobility of engineering are engineers without borders. Can you think of this? Engineers without borders with passports and visa, everything, wherever we work. Why I'm telling about this transnational mobility, when one individual Indian youth develops a consciousness of for global citizenship. We have a national citizenship, fine. Can you think of a global citizenship also? I belong to my nation. I pay my taxes, yes. But by paying my taxes to the country, I also belong to the globe, the whole world. See, in Canada, there is a concept of the great poet called Kuvempu, Vishwamanavanagu, Yelladaru iru, Yantadaru iru, Yendendigu ninu, Vishwamanavanagiru. What is this Vishwamanavanagiru concept? Vishwamanava means global citizenship. Can we think of, instead of, thinking segregately for the welfare of the community, if we can start thinking about the global outlook, then this transnational mobility of engineers becomes necessity. Then global recognition of degrees and diplomas. Indian degrees, Indian diplomas to be recognized in par with any other country. Is it possible? That has to be. That is what it means. Internationalization is this. Twinning up for degree and diploma. Can we twin up for degree and diploma for 4 years degree, 2 years here or 3 years here, 1 year there, something like that? Some experiments are going on, but that is of no use. It is only a piecemeal, not even a piecemeal effort. But twinning up for a degree or diploma, is it possible? Faculty student exchange programs. Faculties and student exchange program. I still recall my visit to Canada as well as to Russia, most of the things are not coming to the public. Ranga Reddy can remember when we visited Indian embassy in Moscow. But anyway, I don't want to go into that particular subject. Twinning up for degrees and faculty student and exchanges, teaching, learning of foreign languages. I still remember when we started training our students. Hey, I'm telling you that the diploma level, training of students in German language. Do you know? Out of 25, all the 25 diploma holders were employed by the German industry. In the campus, I have taken in where I was, the principal of the polytechnic. But anyway, nevertheless, see, in other universities also, say for example in KLE Tech University, we have tried to do the German training also, German language training, with which it has improved the placement opportunities in German-based industries. So there is a small step towards internationalization of engineering education. So this is teaching and learning about the foreign languages. Then collaborative researches. Collaborative researches is a very, that country and our country, that university, our university, joining hands together for research as a teamwork. Now, how many of us can think of this? And to my knowledge, there are MOUs. I can tell you now, this is a sort of andar ki baat hai, or andar ki mamala. Most of the colleges today, to receive the accreditation team, they have a set of standards of MOUs all over. And now these MOUs are really working. Only in one or two colleges they may be working. I have seen number of MOUs. The progress becomes less. Somebody has to follow. This is where I will be coming in the later stage of my presentation. What is to be done? So, collaborative researches are possible, and this is the area where we can tread upon. Then, investments in education, engineering education, investments. How much investment the government can make? As far as my knowledge goes, central government invests considerably good amount, whereas the state government, my comments are reserved in this. State government, any state for that matter, but comparatively, with the World Bank assistance, this and that, some outlook is getting changed, but it has to still change. Because once the project is over, people forget everything. It happened the same thing with about 20 years back when Canada India institutional cooperation project came to Karnataka. Yes, Karnataka did extremely good job. But after that project is completed, everything that was taught or everything that gained experience went into the drain. Let me tell very clearly, back to the same old hats. So why I'm telling this is there should be some commitment in the internationalization of education or internationalization of engineering education. Why I'm specifically focused on engineering education means engineering education, it gives the tangible results quickly. All other education also gives, but at the same time, returns on investment is more tangible with this. Then control and regulation and affiliation and entry levels have to be taught over what it means in internationalization of education. Control, who is controlling whom? Do you know we have a different types of accreditation? Those people who are there in the education for humanities, there is a separate accreditation. And for engineering colleges, apart from Indian NBA, we have a ABBAT accreditation also. And all these, in my opinion, this is my personal opinion, these are some of the controls what these developed countries are putting on developing countries. Yes, you have to do this, you have to do this. Okay, what are the tangible results? That has to be done. If our institution students can, uh, you know, crack the nuts for the all types of competitive examination, why not? This is possible. This is possible. But only thing we lack our what I should say, mm, a sort of willpower to do this and control, regulation, affiliation, etc. Then sharing of intellectual property rights. Of course, here, to some extent, we have to rethink ourselves. Intellectual property rights have never been taken seriously by India because India believes in giving it free. Giving it free. The freebies are not now new. Freebies are right from the education, starting of education. In ancient India, Vidya Danam was considered as one of the sacred job, one of the sacred activity. So everything was given. Okay, there was a mention of Guru Dakshana, but Guru Dakshana was not like to be compared with the IPR of today. But when IPR has come and how IPR has been used, good use, abuse, misuse in India, it is more relevant. So the IPR has to be thought over clearly in contemporary times. So now the foreign exchange, the country is supposed to be the economically rich when the foreign exchanges are highest. So today we have to think seriously how best we can improve our foreign exchanges. Then visa problems. There are visa problems. Those who go to the different countries, they know this. What are these visa problems? Can we move like a Schengen visa to 12 or 13 European countries? Can we move any Asian country? That has to be thought over politically, and that is very strategic. I can't say anything in this, but visa problems are there. And some people, those who would like to quick way get entry into US, they go through Canada. Canada getting a visa is no problem, and everyone knows this. Canada welcomes everyone, but with a skill. They have this rider. If you would like to enter into Canada, you should have a skill. So, getting a Canadian visa is easy, but not for all aged people. But at the simple reason, youths can get the Canadian visa comparatively quicker. Then the last point is establishing the world peace. Establishing the world peace is possible with this. Through when education becomes international, international peace also becomes easy. And the next slide is what it is not. What is not internationalization of engineering education? Procurement of machinery is not internationalization. Procurement of technology from other country. No, it is not internationalization. Not starting a university school for Indians here. Of course, seems to be in the central government. There's some rethinking is going on. Some universities may come. They have put a strong riders on our conditions on entry of foreign universities. It is yet to be seen. The condition is volatile, in my opinion. Initial agreement will be there. But actually, when it comes, all these foreign universities also look for what is there for me, in the sense, what is there for that university. And most of the time, they think in terms of the geographical location, students' catchment area, and what are the quick results that are possible, returns. But however, like this, it happened in establishing the IITs in the earlier days, not now. Some foreign countries, you know, extended their helping hands. In Singapore government invited some top universities of India, and I'm sorry, top universities of US, and they provided all the incentives, facilities, everything. And today, I've visited Singapore also. So within 15 years, Singapore universities, the two universities in Singapore, have come up in the global ranking framework or the ranking map. Now, compared to India, now we have to introspect ourselves. Even those who are running the private educational institutions also may have to think from this point of view. And globalization of engineering is a very vast, it's a very complex process also. And today, internationalization is a very laborious process. A great deal of diplomacy is needed. What is the great diplomacy needed? Now I can quote you one example of our own external affair minister, Mr. Jaishankar. With his efforts, India could establish internationally in 4 or 5 years. He had that experience and he had that in a good quality. But anyway, now, we have to rediscover Jaishankars for educational institutions also. Somebody who can be good spokesman, who can commit himself, and for him, the support from the private management or the government is also required. So this requires a different approach. That's why it's called as laborious process and a great deal of diplomacy needed. And, there should be some commitment. Commitment, it's a life commitment I should do. I should make this possible. Commitment of Macaulay is to be appreciated now in a different context, because the government of England told Macaulay, Mr. Macaulay, when you go back, we expect these things to happen. These things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And he did it successfully. Today, English has become our more or less official language. Of course, Hindi and Kannada in their respective place, but no one can move the English to the sides. English today gives us a bread, butter. And no, I don't want to make any comment on the other language issue, but thinking of Indian ethos, culture, this itself is lost in this. Say, for example, Macaulay wanted this. Macaulay wanted the education should produce subordinates, servants, attitude of servant, obey the order, read it correctly, and implement. Don't think creatively. Don't use your brain, your idea. Do what I say, not do what you think. See, that was the inbuilt, integrated part of the principles of Macaulay's thing. However, this is a question of past. Already, jo ho gaya, so ho gaya. But we are all reaping the benefits or no benefits. Today, on account of this, I had to share this idea. So, need to have a specific technical knowledge and breadth of the knowledge do we have. This is also to be looked into, in the sense Today, most of the students pass competitive examinations and they score more. But do they have national outlook? Do they have global outlook? Do they have a attitude of humanitarian service? Do they have, what is their attitude regarding the country culture, their own family? Like that, if one start thinking, then somewhere here our education lacks. Lifelong learning process is globalization in engineering education. It is always skills are changing, educational qualifications are changing. Do you know how many now everyone talks of artificial intelligence? Artificial intelligence had come to India, had come to Karnataka. May not be People may not be knowing about 15 years back because I know I have read the circular. You know what happened? There were no teachers to teach artificial intelligence in those times, about 15 years back. And education administrators of those times took back the subject of artificial intelligence. Result, today it has come from the West. And now rethinking is going on. Already some universities, some colleges have started the program doing this or that. That is a different issue. But we could have been the pioneers in about 15 or 20 years back. Somewhere we lost. Who lost? Because those type of foresightful thinkers are very, very less in India. Or even if they are, visible, they are not recognized in India. Because recognition in India is a different cup of tea. It has so many complex factors to influence. So when we know that it's a lifelong process of engineering education, learning process, 21st century engineers require some reformations in engineering education. First thing, they should understand what is globalization, what is their global citizenship. Some years back, I have the handbook. I have the handbook where Canadian universities have produced Environment Citizenship, a book which can be an eye opener. That was produced about 20 years back. Let me tell very clearly. And 20 years back, this environmental citizenship was taught, and they could do that. Then the next one was the world economy is linked with the knowledge. Knowledge is power today, and knowledge has to be encashed. Knowledge has to be used as a power to propel the growth of country. So, world economy is linked with knowledge, skills, and the processes, mobility, markets triggered by the technology. Then people forget another issue is the cultural issue. We understand the cultural influences. Now, I have to tell something very latest one. What is happening in Manipur? The conflict among the tribals and the conflict among the illegal or legal immigrants. And there is a definite separation of skills. Skills and market opportunity grabbing by somebody, all these are taking place. And please remember, these are all youths. When you do not care about the youths, these things are going to happen. So understand the cultural influences. What is true with northeastern states may not be true here, but it is applicable in a different context. I don't want to drag all of you into the political aspects of this skill-based education. Then the social elements of the culture. social elements of the culture, this includes love, marriage, this, conversions, all such things included. So that becomes a very complex issue. What is to be taught? That's why we have to make this internationalization of engineering education in Indian context. See, in India, even in those innocent times, people used to come from China, people used to come from Greece, people used to come from Mediterranean regions, and even from Myanmar, Burma. Of course, they were all parts of India in those times. People used to come from Indonesia also. That's how Buddhism also extended to Indonesia. Why I'm telling this is there was a free, there was a flow of people from one region to other region, and India was a hub of activity. But today, India is not a hub of activity for as far as education concerned. Within spite of more number of universities, more number of colleges, all that. Then communication skills and languages. Okay, this is a very vital issue, but at the same time, you know, how many languages you speak, that becomes your strength. Say, for example, if you trace the people from Andhra Pradesh, they know Telugu, they know Hindi, they know bit of Urdu, they know English, and when they go to some other place like Canada, Karnataka, they quickly adjust to the new things because Kannada is very close to Telugu. So the strength becomes more. Whereas hardcore Kannada may not work globally. You have to study another language wherever you go. So today, who is rich? If you ask me, who is rich? The person who knows more and more languages. Some of my friends know more than 5, and some friends know more than 8 languages, working languages. They know they can, you know, move in any country for that matter. So I still remember when we went to Russia, Russian language we are not knowing. Perhaps the Rangareddy knows this. I was the only person who's carried the Russian script and workable. I don't say, I don't remember also now. We could do 6 pages ready reconner what is required for day to day. Why I could do that? Because I had a terrific problem of feeling illiterate person when I was in the Berlin. I was not knowing German language, but at the same time I had to do something in the I think railway station itself. So somewhere I felt that I'm illiterate with all this. Then my histrionic talent came to my rescue, whereas where I dramatized it with all my sign languages, I could explain. Then the people understood something and they helped me. Why I'm sharing this is people must understand the importance of learning more and more language. Love your mother tongue. Absolutely, that is required. So this has to be kept, and in the internationalization of engineering education, this skills, communication skills, and the languages, and all these are required. Then growing professionalism. Growing professionalism is also required. Professionalism means doing your work only for the money. No, doing your work, making money ethically. That is important. That is professionalism. Ethically, no cheating, take appropriately, and if you should have a feeling of satisfaction of doing a perfect job. So professionalism is required in that sphere also. So uh, these are Can you go to the next slides? The last. I'm not seeing here.
Can you see, sir?
Now I'm not seeing here slides.
Is it
Okay.
visible, sir?
No, you are visible. I am visible, and okay,
For
okay.
us, it is visible, sir. We are able to see.
We are also
Okay.
able to see, sir, participants. We are able to see.
Participants are also fine. Now, what is to be done? This is the broad background. What is to be done in this scene? This can be a good guideline for what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting only for universities, educational institutions who run engineering programs. What is to be done? Recognizing interested personalities with a global outlook and organization of high repute. This is first requirement. Suppose if I have an educational institution, I must recognize a competent person who has a global outlook. And I should have also the same thing, commitment levels. So recognizing interested person of global outlook and organization of high caliber. One thing, this internationalization of engineering education may not happen and should not happen in all the engineering educational institution as a policy. In our country, if anything is to be done, this becomes a big headache. Everyone wants. Today, IITs became brand because they were less in number in those days. And next generation after generation, now 3 generation IITs are there. And fortunately, all of them are enjoying the good repute because of the earlier brand image that has been built into the structural system of engineering education. Now, universities also, I should not make my comments. Do we have same ethical values? Those who have seen yesterday's and today's newspapers in Karnataka, big advertisements in the first pages, they will indirectly tell what is all going on in higher education. Anyway, this is not my topic right now, but as a sides for a main dish, I just use this as an example. Involvement of all people in the organization. People must come together. Yes, we are doing it as a part of global work. I belong to the globe. That should be the feeling. I don't want to repeat that anecdote. When a stone cutter, when somebody asked, what are you doing, a stone cutter? Some stone cutter said, I am getting 200 rupees, so I am doing it. But some other stone cutter, when he was asked, he told, I am building a temple. I am building a temple. He had that outlook of what is his contribution is going to do. So we must also find out some people who can think in that way. Clearly defined goals and objectives with a time scheduling, that is important. See, what is happening to MOUs are this. I have been studying MOUs, right, for I think 5 or 6 colleges. There are number of MOUs. What is done? Number of MOUs, number is important. For accreditation team also, sometimes I feel strongly, this is not my comment on the accreditation team, because that is only a part of for them. So what is the further follow-up and results? Benefits to the partners. What is the benefit to the partners? Now, one must be clear in doing this. In one of the educational institution where I was working. I told them what should be the strategy to find out research funding. I said, Northeastern state colleges do have some reservation and they will definitely get research funding. Why not join from here? You are here in this town, they are there in the Northeast state, and why not join hands with them and do the fund? You do the work, no problem. But at the same time, you will also get the benefit of it. Benefit to the partners have to be thought very seriously. So this is very strategic. I just said one example, but to whom I told, he was also not interested. He was interested only the research grant should come to him only. Jointly working together, people have to think now. Then, if I cannot get, if he can get, I can join hands with him. That should be the attitude. It is applicable to fair sex also. If the grants are reserved for women, join hands, what is there? But this has to be done. Then implementation strategies mutually agreed. Within 1 year, what should happen? Within 2 years, what should happen? Within 3 years, what should happen? So, like that, in this collaborative effort, some time scheduling, responsibility fixing has to be done properly in MOUs. And that has to be kept as a performance appraisal. And of course, performance appraisal in private is possible, but whereas in the government setup, I know it is difficult. Everyone has to be given a CR report as a triptikara, satisfactory. If that officer writes best, then he has to explain why he is best. So no one is interested to tell some other person is the best. So triptikara, that is a satisfactory. That becomes a thing and that becomes a culture, and in course of time mediocrity sets in. Then implementation, the time and termination methodology, how we should join hands together when we are to shake hands and apart, live apart. See, this also has to be thought. Conclusion of a project, at least I have seen wherever I have worked, 5 or 6 projects still, incomplete. People say a lot of excuses, but never worry about excuses. Making programs interesting, attractive, market oriented. Making programs interesting. How do you make programs interesting? See, suddenly something, in India it is possible, only it is possible, like in their place. When people understood artificial intelligence important, somebody started the program. I went to one college. Let me tell very clearly, I don't want to name the college. Somebody introduced, he is a professor of artificial intelligence department. Then I asked a few simple questions. And that person was unable to tell me. So if that is the case, what can be the future? So, one may have to think this. Implementation, the time and the termination methodology, making programs interesting and attractive. People with only certificates, what is the use? There must be skill associated with this. Then, skills certification also have to be renewed. In our context, the renewal of certificate is not there. Like we have a renewal methodology as far as the driving license concerned, whereas skill also requires a sort of renewal period. So please remember, this is also important. Then, making programs interesting, attractive, market oriented. I do not know how many of our engineering college faculties do have a knowledge of manpower requirements in specific areas next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, what is going to happen? Here comes importance of technology forecasting and management. Technology forecasting is today, in my opinion, at least wherever I have come across, there is no specific faculty who can think in terms of technology forecasting, and something is happening in IITs. Now I'm aware of it. Since I'm now working with IIT, the technology forecasting is possible. But who has to do this? The faculty has to do. Management has to pressurize the faculty or oriented the faculty. Hey, look, this is all technology things are predicting is possible. Today it is, what is the artificial intelligence? Yes, with all the big data analytics, the next is this. So what is to be done has to be thought. Then relationship building, confidence building, branding efforts are required. Now, relationship building. This is quite interesting. How do you build the relationships? A teacher has to be goodwill ambassador of the college, of university. And when you say hello, when you develop a contact, other than professional or, whatever you may say, because the relationship issues are complex. When you develop a complex, a sort of relationship, things become easy. And I need not tell, it is easy to get the grant when you have a proper relationships. It is easy to get you favor when you have a good relationships. Your technical skill, your qualification, your position do not matter. Sometimes your relationship along with the skills and intelligence are important. The best example, again, I have to go back to Jaishankar as well as Ajit Doval. Now, skills are important, knowledge is important, experience is important, and the company must be, the company where you are living. If you are in the company of good people, you become good. If you are in the company of bad, you become bad. So please remember what is possible. Now, I have to again remind you, India had reached its zenith of popularity, branding in terms of knowledge and wisdom centuries back. Where all that global, whereas all that Indian past glory has gone, that has to be taught. And now the intellectual people, those who are in the engineering education and the policy making, have to rethink how best I can get back to this. Look at some of the universities. I don't want to name X, Y, Z universities. I have seen top of the professors used to be there. Now, where is the top? All have become topless most of the time. And why I'm telling this is the university, their name becomes a brand. Their name becomes a brand. And what you just show me how many people are there. Yes, on account of this. Today, APJ Kalam is remembered. Even Amol, founder, Korean remembered. Radhakrishnan remembered. All these are past. Now today, we have to think in terms of creating a personalities, intellectual level personalities. That is also important, and that is required for, see, today, most of the countries, defense ministers and everyone knows who is Ajit Doval. This is the importance of the branding of a person. And where are we? How many scientists have got the Nobel. You know, I suggested at least 2, 3 universities. Let me tell very clearly. Sir, why can't you invite Nobel laureates to visit your college and address during the convocation? Convocation is a very sacred job. Normally, any scientist of importance will not reject it. He will accept it. He will come, top people. So, when they come, relationship starts. This is strategy of internationalization of engineering education. Grafting for the plants, grafting for the research work also. Bring people from outside, make them, your people, let them see how committedly they do the things. And today or tomorrow, your college will also come to the top. That is to be remembered. So, import this talent by inviting Nobel laureates, top scientists, all this. Today, I know at least 3 or 4 people from our own Dharwad, let me tell Dharwad city, who have established their own credentials in America, in UK, in Japan, they are there. Even in Canada. You know, incidentally, my journey in Canada became easy on account of my relationship with the Dharwad person. Not in the relation, in the blood relation, no. It is only on the Facebook, nothing else. Let me tell that also. That man was so proud that I am from Dharwad. And he just told me, Mr. Arvind, when you are coming here, come with 1 kg of peda, nothing else. Okay, this is just why I'm sharing this is there are different strategies to be adopted. You know, Australian commissioner invited one minister. I don't want to name now. He invited, giving everything and invited visit Australian education. And we are ready to collaborate with you. And, you know, they wrote, the commissioner, he wrote 2 or 3 letters. And there was no response from the minister. Then when I met my couple of my friends there in the office, they asked me, hey, what is this? Your government is not at all responding. Then I just jokingly said, you are inviting people like that, what I should do? Invite me, I will do my level best. That's what I said. Anyway, that's a leave apart. This is just a sharing of some ideas, nothing else. So, you know, what is to be done is time and the relationship building, confidence building. When they invite, take the invitation with all the respect and fulfill it. When you are committed to do it within the deadlines. See, consistency brings credibility. Credibility brings the confidence. See, these are all 3 C's are interlinked. Consistency, yes. When I say something to this man, he is going to do this. And when I show this belief on me, increases. But is it possible in India's Indian system of higher education? If you are a private, it is possible. But if you are government owned, no. Who has taken the permission? Who has given the permission? Number of bureaucratic problems will come. Who asked you to do this? See, there are more teething problems. So the best way is to go do the things privately sometimes if you are in the government service. But if you are in the private, you are free. Okay. Then relationship, confidence building, and branding efforts. Branding efforts has to be taught. Most of the educational institutions today, they don't know what is branding. They give only advertisement and more and more advertisements make the more branding. No. Branding is done in the psychology of the person's people. So perception index, what is there in the accreditation is applicable here. What is the perception of the people about the college? Branding is made in the minds. Products are done in the industry. So now there is a need to establish top educational institutions identifying as a international brands. Some incentives have to be given by the government. And even if incentives are not given, it is left to their management to do what best I can do. Assertive marketing of engineering education as a brand. You know, I don't know how many of you have seen that. In Canada, there is a very assertive marketing. You don't know. In Delhi, Hyderabad, Bengaluru, every year educational fairs happen on account of these agencies. They have given some powers to the agencies, local power agencies. People from Canada, Australia, UK, they come and do the publicity. Whereas what we do, we don't do this. Aggressive marketing is also required. And I had a talk with Norwegian University professor who is incidentally Indian. Of course, he has lost his citizenship, that is different, but basically born and brought up in Madhya Pradesh. I met him accidentally. Then he told me, people are not coming to our place. Our place can offer number of opportunities and free education, free education in Norway. But the thing is, we think of lot of difficulties, climate, food, this, that. See, what is important in the life? Food is important. That is okay. But at the same time, education is more important. Then the what is to be changed, what is the hurdle is mindset of the policy makers. I don't want to explain more on the mindset. Lack of political will, lack of and there is lack of political will is the second reason. Third reason, a more dangerous reason, is intellectual orthodoxy and inertia. Intellectual orthodoxy or inertia, what is called? Hey, this is not going to happen. These people are going to make a mess out of all this. No, 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 no. Let the status quo continue. My retirement is next 5 years. I don't want to take any challenges. This is the attitude, and this is the, intellectual orthodoxy or inertia. They know everything. Okay, important is that. Fine. But at the same time, hesitation of intellectual crafting machinery. I just told, invite a Nobel laureate, invite him for not only for delivering a talk, but also to work along with you here. Provide a facility, ask some people to work with him, and people remember. See, I still remember one person was sharing with me about 10 or 15 days back how many, days he spent with DVZ. DVZ is a famous poet in Kannada literature who has written a Mankotimmana Kagga. And how, with his radiance, intellectual radiance, how could he achieve the best of it for him? And today he's a changed man. So, the intellectual grafting is required for educational institutions. Get the best people. Today, whatever the name of engineering college you come across, if it is up making, person from outside has been brought and put it there. I don't want to name the things, but it has also shelf life. Please remember, every organization have a cycle of life. In one period, it moves up, and in the second period, it slowly starts coming down. But continuously, can we have a straight line growth, straight is difficult, but here the leadership development is required. So, hesitation of intellectual grafting and machinery, visa and foreign property acquisition. Many people are worried about this also, including Indian government. What is going to happen if they come and acquire Indian land? Because we have experienced about 200, 300 years back, East India Company came for business. Today also engineering institutions also come for a business only. What is going to happen if they come forward like this? This is even the Korea, South Korea has done similarly there. They offer the property there. About 4 years back, I still remember one of the Korean friend approached me with that project. Can you impress upon some people to establish the enterprises there in Korea? South Korea, not in the north. Okay, so visa and the foreign property acquisition. So the government of India is putting a lot of serious thought on this. So, as a matter of conclusion, I would like to tell there is a need for establishing top educational institution as India brand. No doubt we have IITs, but at the same time, in coming with in tune with IIT, we must also encourage other how best we can. That is one question. Of course, some state governments they talk of so many things. Is it possible to make all government engineering college at IIT level? Those people who are listening to me, they silently laugh from inside. Is it possible? Okay, it may be possible, provided Kohli like person becomes the governing body member, chairman in Pune Engineering College is the best example case study. Anyway, those who know about the Pune Engineering College of yesteryears, I have not gone recently, but about 5 years back or 6 years back when I used to go to Pune Engineering College very often, I know how that was functioning then. So, assertive marketing of engineering education abroad, that is required. Substantial income potential need to be done and it should be harmless in the sense substantial income potential exists with this, but a commitment is required. And how do you get this? So, friends, so far we have discussed nearly about 60 minutes, I think so, because it should have started at 5 o'clock, but I think here and there some technical problems. It started at somewhere at 5:10, and now it is in my mobile. It shows 18:18. So anyway, whatever random ideas I just thought of in the internationalization of engineering education. I belong to one group which believes that the glory of ancient India in terms of internationalization in education has to be brought back. Come what may, that shows the patriotism, what we can think of. We should regain the glorious positions. And that is possible with Indian talent that is available. Because in all the developed countries, US, UK, Indians are in the key post. Please remember, they are serving those countries. Why not serving here? So to make this more attractive, somebody has to take a policy decision and do the best. And I hope in coming years, this is all possible. But one thing certain, in coming 5 years, India has a great challenges in terms of engineering education, in terms of higher education, in terms of welcoming new universities, there will be more competition, and competition in the sense there can be more number of international institutions. Some foreign universities may come. Already 2 or 3 have been listed. But since the government of India has put some riders on that, it is controlled. But today or tomorrow, we don't know the conditions of India, political condition. We talk of today. Next, what is going to happen in our state, we also don't know. So can we think of, see, one of the, let me conclude with that. New education policy has to be implemented, and new education policy also stresses on multi-language strategy as well as internationalization of education. But already one party has put in a manifestation that we don't want NEP. So we have such a peculiar thinking ideologies in India. So I also don't know what is going to happen, but certainly greater challenges are ahead, and we hope only thing अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Chairman of the State Center of Institution of Engineers, Mr. Lakshman, and thank you, Rangareddy, my friend, who had accompanied me with Russia. So I still recall those days. Then thank you very much, those who are seeing this program. You are free to ask me any question. Whatever I know, I would like to share with you. But my one gut feeling is challenging days are ahead, and we have to make India to regain back the old glory of the nation of the established good universities. So thank you very much. If you have any question, I'm free. I'm not making exit. Okay.
Thank you very much, sir. Participants, if you have any questions, you can just pose the questions online.
If any questions, if they are not able to ask now, they can send by mail, or we can forward to the Professor Kulkarni sir, get the answers. And thank you. Again, we can ask the vote of thanks to be proposed.
Yes.
Ravi.
Sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening to all the participants of today's expert lecture online and witnessing on live streaming also. It is my proud privilege on behalf of the Institution of Engineers to propose the vote of thanks on this occasion. We are greatly privileged by the online presence of our distinguished speaker, Professor Arvind Kulkarni, Adjunct Advisor, Public Relations, IIT Dharwad, who enlightened us today on this very interesting and important topic of internalization of engineering education. The topic of this lecture is very much essential for all of us to know in view of the launch of the National Education Policy, which has to take an important step in the implementation stage. Thank you, sir, for your excellent, informative, inspiring, and impressive speech with interesting examples, and your lecture was very much appreciated. Our profound thanks to Dr. N.T. Rangareddy, Honorary Secretary, Institution of Engineers, Karnataka State Center, and Sri M. Lakshmana, our Chairman, Institution of Engineers, Karnataka State Center, for their extensive support in conducting the programs, and Dr. Engineer Nanjesh B.R., convener for this lecture program. Thanks to the senior members, committee members of the Institution of Engineers who have logged in online and witnessed and participated in this discussion. Thanks to all the participants for having joined online and I'm sure all of you would have got their takeaway with this interesting lecture. Thanks to all the participants who have witnessed this lecture on YouTube and live streaming mode also. Thanks to the staff of Institution of Engineers, Karnataka State Center for having done the logistics in conducting the proceedings for the talk. Let us have a great weekend and a safe and prosperous days ahead. All the best. We now can log off with a note that we have the next lecture on Thursday, 11th May, on the occasion of the National Technology Day, on the Thursday, 11th May. Please note in your systems. Please note that please join with the link which will be sent to you in due course. We also have a one-day seminar scheduled on Saturday, 20th May, where all of you are requested to be physically present. That's a physical program present at the Institution of Engineers, Karnataka State Center, to witness the World Telecommunication Day and Information Technology Day. Thanks to all of you once again. Thank you. You can now log off.
Thank you, Professor. Thanks a lot. We'll catch up again. Thank you.
Thank you, Rangareddy.
Thank you.